How we doing? Back on Stadium, Pierzynski, Kratz, I'm Braun, and Russ Dorsey hanging out with us for the next 10-ish minutes. Russ, how you doing? Did you enjoy Domingo German's masterpiece last night?
Yeah, it was up late and like everybody else, and you get the notification that somebody's throwing a perfecto, and so then you turn the game on, and guy has 93 pitches going into the ninth inning, and you're like, okay, he could really get this done, and then he does it, and it's always so cool to see history in baseball. I think it's one of the best parts about the sport. So love watching it, love seeing a guy be able to do that, and the other factors. Guy gave up 15 earned runs the two previous starts, and so to see him have the best night of his career, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. That's right. I guess that sums it up, Russ. It's pretty cool. It's pretty darn cool to throw a perfect game, right? I mean, think about the odds, and we've already asked the poll question, and Scott keeps arguing that, oh, you're an ace, you got a better chance to throw a perfect game. But yeah, they might have better stuff, but look at the list of guys who've done it. I mean, Phil Humber, Dallas Braden. I mean, yeah, there's Roy Halladay and Felix Hernandez, but then you can throw Domingo German on that list. It's just completely random, completely luck, and everything lines up. And you, for 27 outs, you're the man. And the 24 people that have done it, congratulations. It's an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, I think you look at the fact that it had been 13 years since somebody had thrown a perfect game in the big leagues. I don't like the argument that some people are out there making. Oh, it's the Oakland A's. Well, there's been terrible teams in baseball who haven't gotten no hit for the last 13 years. So to look at that lineup and say, well, I mean it's the A's. No, like you still have to go out and get guys out. That team is trying to compete every night, just like everybody else. And so sometimes you just got to tip your hat to a guy that had everything working in the start.
Do you think that the next perfect game will be from, I'll give you options, Shohei Ohtani, Sandy Alcantara, Zach Gallen, Michael Wacha, or the field? In the poll we have Rando.
Oh, man. I mean, you look at the names of the guys who had recently thrown ones, like you look at Philip Humber, right? You look at Dallas Braden, and those aren't the biggest name guys, kind of just journeyman in baseball. So if I have to pick somebody, I'm probably taking the field, not because I don't think the guys that you mentioned, Scott, aren't amazing. They are. And you got to be a horse, like you guys mentioned before the break, to get through a perfect game. But I'm probably going to take the field because sometimes it's not the big names guys that do something like that.
I'm not saying it has to be the top name in the sport, but here's my one thing. Your percentage chance is still higher based on not just stuff, but my big thing nowadays, Russ, is longevity. Yeah. I just think at least 3/4 of the league is, if not more, starter-wise, is never going to sniff the eighth inning. Never going to sniff the eighth inning, no matter basically what they do, unless a team is swinging at every single pitch. AJ, you disagree?
Domingo
German has gone into game. He's not 5 and dive. Is he 5 and dive?
No,
Am I missing something?
No. He got pulled out. He got pulled out of a couple of games in like the eighth inning with like 85, 90 pitches. So he's been going deep with his pitches.
But look at the pitch counts, though. The problem is not that they can't go 8 or 9 innings. The problem is every kid throws 100 pitches in 5 innings because everything is max effort. That's the problem. It's not about they can't do it. They can't do it because they're maxed out on pitches at 105 innings because they strike out 10 and they walk 6 and they give up 5 hits and they're at 100 pitches and they're like, I did my job. I went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. Let's go, bullpen, cover the last 12 outs.
But Russ, that's why I think Alcantara, say, for example, is more likely than most because the dude can be economical when he's feeling it.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely a guy that would rather have a complete game with 4 strikeouts than go 6 innings with 13 or 14 strikeouts. So the being economical with your pitch count is definitely a big part of it. And that's why you look at Domingo German last night, 93 pitches going into the night, and you're like, okay, yeah, he definitely gets a shot to close this thing out. And even if he was at 100, 105 pitches, I imagine that Aaron Boone would have given him a shot to finish that thing out. So, yeah, I think that plot probably plays a bigger factor, the pitch count, than anything else.
Nothing against the A's, but do you think this was diminished a little bit or not seen as much because it was in Oakland? Obviously, we have video, all that stuff, but do you feel like if this was I guess nothing in the AL Central or NL Central either, but maybe I'm being picky. It was the Yankees, so I guess it should be a big thing, but was it diminished because it was in Oakland?
Yeah, look, it was late here in Chicago when I was watching that game, and so imagine a lot of people aren't staying up to watch A's baseball right now. No disrespect to those guys, but yeah, I think you probably had a lot of people wake up this morning like, oh man, somebody threw a perfecto last night, and we're a little surprised by that. But I think it's probably less about it being the A's, more about it being a West Coast game. Like if this happened against the Seattle Mariners, I think you have the same type of thing where you wake up this morning, if you live in New York or you live in Florida, if you live in Atlanta, and go, oh, wow, like there was a perfect game in baseball last night.
Well, listen, I don't care where it is. It's the Yankees, and it was a perfect game. There's been 24 of them in the history of the game, so I don't care. People are going to talk about it, and they deservedly should. So, I mean, again, I don't care where you pitch, and I'm tired of Scott saying the A's games don't count because they're not. I'm tired of that narrative that he always throws out there. Oh, the Rays beat the A's, the Yankees threw a perfect game against the A's. Remember, the A's, for a long time, it was the Rays that kept getting no hit. They were good. Remember Dallas Braden threw the perfect game. It was like Mark Burley's perfect game was against the Rays. And they were good at the time. So again, it doesn't matter who you're pitching against. I honestly think you could take a major league starter and throw them against a minor league team, and they would have a hard time doing this. And you could almost throw some college teams in there, and big league starters would have a hard time throwing perfect games. So I don't care who it is against. It's still a great accomplishment.
Yeah, you have to have your best day, and then you still need a little bit of luck to help you out. Like it's not just, oh, well, this guy's great, this team is terrible. It doesn't work that way in the sport like baseball, where you can bloop something over the second baseman's head, base hit. You could have a swing bunt, something dribbles down the line, base hit. Like there's so many things that have to go right to even give yourself a chance to have that 3 outs in the ninth to get something like that done. I'm with you, AJ. Like I just don't think it's something where you can look at the opponent and just say, well, they're bums.
Cliff Lee one time said, he goes, well, I'm probably never going to throw a no-hitter because I'm not trying for strikeouts. I'm trying to finish the game. And I think that's why I would be on AJ's side saying Alcantara's probably not going to get one because he's worried about, now if it's a 1-0 game the whole time, he's just worried about just, hey, pounding the strike zone. When that happens, guys get their knocks, guys get their little dribblers, so it's a little bit tougher. That's what was amazing about Doc throwing a no-hitter and a perfect game, but his no-hitter was a 1-0 game in Miami.
No, that's something I was going to ask you guys, because like guys execute pitches every night in the big leagues, and guys find some way to get some type of barrel on it. That doesn't mean you messed up. Like, hey, guys are going to get hits. And so you look at the accomplishment that a no-hitter is, let alone a perfect game, and you said, man, like that is, there's only been 24 in the history of Major League Baseball. Like the game's been around for a long time. And the fact that there's only 24 guys that have been able to do that, it speaks to how amazing a night like that is.